This just got a lot more interesting when it comes to the Ducks offseason. We get into exactly what I'm talking about in this edition of Ducks Digest. Hey, it's Mike Nelson. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I want to thank the 8% of you, the ones who are watching these videos who have already hit the sub button, but 91% of you have not subscribed yet. I'm not sure why. We're the newest Anaheim Ducks YouTube channel, bringing you Ducks content right here on YouTube. We're the best YouTube channel out there when it comes to Anaheim Ducks. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and help out a fellow Anaheim Ducks fan. But as we know, the Ducks have made a lot of changes this offseason, and the prospects are always something to talk about when it comes to the Anaheim Ducks because they have such great prospects. And Daily Faceoff did an interesting article ranking every NHL's team prospect pool for the upcoming season. The Ducks finished pretty high, a little lower than last year. Last year finished third, this year fourth when it comes to the prospect pool for the upcoming season. And Beckett Seneca, as we know, has to be at the top of that leaderboard. Seneca is a player that could break the NHL roster next season. It would be pretty awesome to see Beckett play for the Ducks, a player that a lot of people are talking about here in the offseason. Roger McQueen, not going to be with the Ducks next year. But still, of course, a prospect. And Stian Solberg, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, another prospect for the Ducks. The Ducks might be finally on the come-up after years of drafting high, after watching Leo Carlsson, Pavel Mitnyakov, Jackson Lacombe, Lucas Dostal, Cutter Gauthier, and Olen Zellweger become full-time NHL players over the past 2 years. They've got more on the way, more prospects on the way. It's one of the youngest teams in the NHL. The Ducks have the potential to be one of the most exciting teams to watch in the upcoming season. If everything works out, it's going to be really fun to watch Ducks hockey, right? I mean, after some really rough years watching the Anaheim Ducks, I believe that next season should be a lot better, right? Should be finally a year where you can watch the Ducks and think they're going to have a chance to win, a lot of games, right? Because the last 2 years, it's been, the Ducks basically out of it by the time the holidays came around, which hopefully doesn't happen this upcoming season. You hope that come Christmas time, the Ducks are still in conversation to make the playoffs. I mean, the last years just has not been the case. By the time the holidays come around, this team is basically done. And that is unacceptable, right? Especially with the moves they made in the offseason, which we're going to talk a little bit more about in this video as well. A little bit more about the moves that this Ducks team made and how that's going to make the team be a lot better in the upcoming season. But just to close up on the prospects, the Ducks have a lot of young guys. They have a lot of young players. Any team would love to have the Ducks roster for teams that are, of course, rebuilding or retooling. This is the kind of roster you want to have, right? The team has size up front, some options on the back end, and a couple potential backup goaltenders. Talking about young guys that are playing for the San Diego Gulls. They might lack play drivers, but they've got options just about everywhere else when it comes to the young guys, right? Now, let's talk a little bit more about the offseason. We got an article today, believe it was from NHLTradeRumors.com or one of those websites. As we know, there's so many websites when it comes to, insiders and all that kind of stuff. Wanted to make sure puckpros.com is the article that brought us this article, just to confirm puckpros.com. Ducks active offseason could feel a jump in the standings. The addition of several high-flying forwards might be the factor that tips the scale in the direction of contending for a playoff berth. This is from Emma Miller earlier today talking about the Ducks. During the offseason, the Anaheim Ducks, Pat Verbeek had one goal in mind: take another step forward towards playoff contention. In the last couple years, the Ducks have jumped 21 points in the standings after having 50 losses. Their worst season just 2 years ago. God, I don't even want to think about that year because that was so rough to watch. I watched, the majority of the games like I do every year, right? I mean, what else are you doing come hockey season? You're watching Ducks hockey. At least I am. Watching the games no matter how bad the team is. At least for the first few months, right? At least I would say until January, February, and then it gets really ugly in March and April, and then I'm probably not watching it anymore. But at least you're watching until January, February, and hopefully next year, we're watching until April, right? That is hopefully the plan for next year. The Ducks had a pretty solid year last year. Weren't 500, but we're close, 35, 37, and 10. Pretty solid for a rebuilding team. And now the club could see another leap in the standings based on the offseason moves that will serve to bolster the lineup. That's what this article kind of talks about. There's still a multitude of things that need to improve before the Ducks can return to the postseason. I would disagree with that. I'm going to disagree with that here in this article. I think the Ducks have right now enough to make the playoffs. I really do think so. I think the Ducks, if everybody's healthy, Lucas Dostal has a really good season, and the young guys take a step forward and the acquisitions they made work out, the Ducks have enough to make the playoffs this year with this roster. And, of course, keeping Mason McTavish. Let's not forget about that. Mason McTavish has to be a Duck next year if they want to have a chance of making the playoffs. I mean, if Mason McTavish holds out or is dumped for a bag of pucks for Montreal, because that's basically what the Canadians would trade the Ducks, a bag of pucks and basically nothing else, then, yeah, the Ducks are not going to be in the playoffs next year. So that's why it's super important what happens with Mason McTavish. Sadly, we don't have much of an update here. It's August 26th. It's getting close to training camp, and things have not turned for the better, and you got to be concerned if you're a Ducks fan. But, yeah, the Ducks, according to this article, a lot of things got to improve. Sure, they got to improve, but I think right now the Ducks have enough for the playoffs. A lot of changes, as we know. Traded Trevor Zegras to Philadelphia. Got Ryan Poehling, a couple draft picks. Gibson traded away, which was a big trade because for years we talked about John Gibson getting traded, and it finally happened. It finally happened this offseason, right? To the Detroit Red Wings. Got Peter Mrazek back, who's going to be the backup. But, like this article says, got to agree with this. The Ducks' biggest problem over the past few years has been the offense. The Ducks finished 30th last year with goals per game, 2.65 goals per game, which is terrible in the modern NHL. The worst power play, 11.8%, absolutely terrible. Basically, one of the main reasons why Greg Cronin was fired, because it's unacceptable to have an 11% power play and average 2.65 goals per game in the modern NHL. This is not 2003. This is not 1998. This is 2025 when goals should be easier to come by. And the Ducks are not showing that. So, yeah, we need somebody to coach this team and get them to score more goals. That's how you win hockey games. Chris Kreider is big acquisition, a lot of injuries the last year. Hopefully he can turn around. We just got to wait and see how he does in the upcoming season. Mikael Granlund, as we know, a big acquisition as well. This guy is a star in the NHL. I mean, he, of course, on the back end of his career, but a proven goal scorer. So a lot of optimism. Everybody's looking forward to next year, and just got to watch the games, right? Just got to hope the Ducks get off to a good start next year, because that is a key for Anaheim. As always, make sure to subscribe, and let's go Ducks. Woo!